Hello, folks, and this time I am back. And a lot of times I get questions from people time and time again. They ask me that some of my firearms are over $1,000, and I'm truly blessed to be able to afford those. But they do ask me, uh, would I carry one of these firearms that are at least over $1,000? Now, a lot of people's fear about carrying a firearm at that price range would be number one, God forbid they're into a situation where they have to use their firearm. There's a Usually what happens is the police will confiscate that firearm for further investigation, and then they usually return it to you, and that all depends on your jurisdiction where you live. Another thing is some people are just worried about scratching their firearms. Well, I'm here to talk to you about firearms that companies that there are three companies that I've noticed that three companies don't want you to make these firearms safe queens, and they want you to have these firearms as a means of defense and not worry about anything, even though that they do have that high price tag. The first company I'm going to talk about is probably mainly the most controversial one, would be Sig Sauer. Now, when Sig Sauer came out some time ago with the Legion series, that bumped up the price tag. They were already high to begin with, but because of the Legion series, they actually made themselves look a little bit bad in front of the gun community. One of the problems that was going on is first of all, with the whole Legion coin thing, as well as the exclusivity of the, let's say, the Legion brand, where you can have all the different types of Legion gear and so forth. And that kind of turned people off, I guess. And then people were so busy concentrating that, but they weren't concentrating on the firearms themselves. Uh, of course, this the Legion series I'm talking about are the classic line. It has nothing to do with the X5 Legion or the P938 Legion. These are the particular firearms I'm talking about, which have that heritage from the Navy SEALs, etc. And with the classic line, what they did with this to add some refinements is they have the undercut, the front strap checkering. Of course, they put in a G10 grip, and of course, the Legion logo is right there. And you have your front checkering right here, and as well as some of the checkering underneath the trigger guard. Of course, with the refinements of the X-ray sights and so forth. Comes in two different packages. Right now, what I'm holding in my hand is the single action only, which has a flat face trigger, and here's your traditional one with double action, single action. One thing that's unique about this one is you have that trigger that they call the SRT trigger, which is a short reset trigger. And the Legion line is a very, very interesting line. I like the way it feels. I like the way it shoots. This I have several other legions and I collect legions, so I like that particular feel. But is it a good firearm for personal protection? Yes, it is, and I do carry this one from time to time. Uh, they are about you using this firearm, quote unquote, their whole warrior um, stance that they are have been putting that out. And a lot of people look at that warrior slash legion thing as some type of Mickey Mouse club type thing, but they are really are trying to promote that this is a fighting machine. They want you to use this as a defensive firearm. And in some cases, some people might use this in law enforcement. I don't know of any, but I know people that do carry the Legion, the 226 Legions or the 229 Legions. So that would be one of the firearms I would say that's over that 1,000 mark that this should not be treated as a safe queen, and that's what uh, the Sig Sauer was going for. Even with its refinements and everything, this was meant to be a defensive or fighting firearm to protect yourself. And the next firearm I'm going to talk about, or company, when I mentioned the Sig Sauer Legion line, I was meaning that the company really wants you to go forth and use those particular firearms. But the second company is kind of like not so much of a wild card, but it is going to be Dan Wesson. Now, this Dan Wesson, of course, is a 1911, and that's what mainly Dan Wessons are known for. A lot of people have issues with the 1911 platform because of reliability concerns, and they have that love hate relationship with anything that's a 1911. Uh, One thing about the 1911 platform is there's a new generation out there. It's called what I call the poly generation. So they don't give the 1911 a look at or a second thought to look at because they think it's an antiquated design and so forth. Now you can go debate that all you want about whether it's an antiquated design. I don't care. I'm a huge fan of the 1911, but one thing about Dan Wesson, when they make their firearms, it is about having mem parts, which is that they do not want mem parts in their firearms. They want everything to be top notch and not have any issues or fear of breakage or any type of malfunction. So they really are promoting that they do not have mem parts in their firearms. Um, One of the other things is what I like about Dan Wesson is it's not glorified. There's a lot of other manufacturers that are out there that have so many um, 1911 companies that look a little bit too gaudy. If you look at this one right here, it's not plastered out with a lot of like a billboard over here. You just see this is the Dan Wesson Valor, by the way. You'll just see the word Valor and real tiny on the sides here. You'll see it will say Dan Wesson. Probably you'll see it says Dan Wesson Firearms. That's all it needs to know. Wally Clapp has a old saying, and I believe the saying is everything you need and nothing that you don't, and that's what this is. Uh, you have some refinements as the front checkering, a good scoop up underneath, rear checkering. The only thing that probably looks a little bit different are the grips. They have the G10 grips right here, and of course there's a ledge here for the modern day folks. They add a little bit of modern day touch, which is where you could use this off the boot of your heel, boot of your heel, and whatnot to rack or on a belt and so forth. So that's one thing I like about Dan Wesson. It's not gaudy or anything like that. And here's the other Dan Wesson Specialist. The only thing they did with this was add a pick rail, 1913 Picatinny rail, and of course you have the slide release is a little bit wider, so you can get that thumb over there to use the slide release, whether you want to do it with your support hand or your regular shooting hand. And like I said, even though this is stainless, it's not really over gaudy or really shiny. Of course, I mentioned again about the grips. You can get grips anywhere, but it does have a magwell here that will aid in loading, but this is not something that is really over gaudy or anything like that. Like I said, Dan Wesson made these firearms to be used in defensive and shooting. This is not something that you put in your safe and lock away. This is something that you could take out the safe and carry it and feel confident that you can defend yourself with it. So a lot of people do take their 1911s and just pretty much put them away as safe queens, especially over the $1,000 mark. This is a firearm that I would take out. Actually, I do carry this. The Valor, actually, I carry often when I want to carry a good 1911. This is the one, my go-to one, where I would, and I have the confidence with this. I practice with both of these particular firearms a lot. And last but not least, I'm going to show you the staccato line. Now, the staccato here, as you see, this is the staccato P, and this is another company that is very interesting. A lot of us know that staccato was formerly known as STI, and they are famous, of course, for your 2011 firearms. It has some of the uh, attributes of a 1911, but look at it as a double stack, high capacity 1911. There are some different functions on here where you have well, different grip textures on here. You can probably change those out. And there was a guy named Tony. He's a spokesperson for Staccato, and he basically tells you that this firearm is for protection, for duty use, and for personal protection. When they were changing their names from STI to Staccato, they came out with the C. The C was a uh, compact version of this particular one, and it was the C that was really catching on with really big acclaim because it was slim. It was a 1911 style firearm that was 9 millimeter, and it was that's what Tony was trying to say. He needed something that where people could have the technology from the 2011s and put into something compact or various different styles. Um, this is the C2. This is the double stack version of the C. And uh, like I was saying, and Tony really, really expresses that this is really for duty and personal protection that you can protect your family with. And one of the interesting things about with what Tony does is he has tested the staccato P where he I don't know how many thousands of rounds he put in there, but he put they tested with lots of thousands of rounds with I believe maybe one malfunction. You will have to go check on the staccato site for that, but he did that testing and it was just unbelievable how he tested that with minor lubrication at certain points. So the staccato line is really, really a unique line. And the most important thing is they took the DNA from when from their competition series firearms way back and put it into a serviceable firearm, whether you're law enforcement or whether you are the civilian. That's what he basically did. And that's the most important thing is a lot of companies will go out there and they would cater to the law enforcement community a great deal. They would cater to them so much that they would forget the civilian market. And Staccato didn't want to do that. So that is what they preach with their company. Now, the Staccato line is probably going to be the most expensive of all the firearms that I've showed you here, or um, and that's one of the things. Now, people will say, why would you take an expensive firearm? Yeah, because the firearm is going to, well, I have the confidence in the firearm that the firearm is going to protect me. Um, the thing about that is some of the other ones, I believe it's called the staccato, uh, I think it's the staccato P with the optic version that can go even over $2,100. But he says that's what he wants to do. He wants those firearms to be taken as a, let's say, as a daily carry or duty use. So I hope you really like this video. I really wanted to talk about because I get this question asked so many times about would I carry a firearm that's over $1,000 or and would I feel comfortable taking that out into the wilds? So for the most part, I've been experimenting carrying this one. I have carried this a lot, and I have carried the Valor a lot. So the Valor a lot. So I'm really starting to get into carrying my 1911s a lot. So Really, it doesn't matter how much a firearm costs. Uh, long as they go bang at the end of the day, they all do the same thing. It's just the difference, just like if you go from a regular car to a sports car, etc. And it's whatever your funds can um, accommodate you to pick up what firearm you want. But this, like I said, this question has been out there, and I just felt as though I had to answer that one. Okay, and thanks for your time. Happy shooting. Stay safe. Hashtag 2A.